The morning started like any other. Sunlight drifted through the smudged windows of Robert Wesson's bookstore, casting long shadows across a counter worn smooth by time. The smell of old paper mixed with fresh coffee as Robert took his seat behind the register, a man weathered by decades, but anchored in routine. He didn't get many customers these days, just a trickle of loyal readers and the occasional college kid. But his peace had been disturbed. One book, a single obscure mystery novel, had gone missing. For weeks he tried to dismiss it, but the nagging feeling remained. And today, there was a knock at the door. Two officers stood there, Greggs, tall, serious, and weary, and Simon, younger, clearly wishing for a more glamorous beat than lost library books. "Are you Robert Wesson?" "Yes, sir." "You're here about the missing book?" Greggs nodded. They didn't seem impressed until they saw his archive. His store wasn't just a shop. It was a labyrinth of dusty shelves, sagging under the weight of untold stories. Stories he hadn't yet read. Stories he might never read. "The book is titled An Ode to Murder," Robert told them. "It's been missing for about 2 weeks." He led them through his cramped living quarters. They searched for hours, rifling through stacks of novels, peeking behind shelves. By afternoon, they gave up. Convinced he hadn't just misplaced it, Greggs jotted notes while Simon lazily examined a photo of Robert and a friend. "Who's that?" "Damien," Robert smiled. "My best friend from the old days. We used to dream of becoming writers." The mood shifted when Robert mentioned a familiar name. "I did see Jason Diaz hanging around. You know how he is." Jason, a former literature student, a town misfit, and most importantly, the ex-boyfriend of Chloe Mendez, the girl whose brutal, unsolved murder had haunted the town for over a decade. The officers exchanged a glance. "We'll check on Jason." "We'll check on Jason," Greg said. "Could be connected." 1 week later, the phone rang. Robert was called to the station. He expected to retrieve his missing book. What he walked into was so much more. On the interrogation table sat the worn copy of An Ode to Murder, the very book he'd reported missing. But inside, among the fictional tales, was one that didn't quite feel like fiction. "Robert," Greg said solemnly, "this story, it describes the Mendez case in disturbing detail. Unpublished facts, crime scene specifics, all of it. Jason's fingerprints had been on the book, and in his apartment, they found the murder weapon. After 10 years, the case was cracked. He used a pen name, Jasper Raffe," Simon added. "Turns out, he tried to immortalize his crime by writing about it." Jason had always been off since Chloe's death, but no one suspected until now. Robert was stunned, but he wanted to see Jason, to look the boy in the eyes. Inside the prison, 11:30 to 13. In the dim, grimy prison, Robert stood before Jason, now just a broken man in a jumpsuit. "I didn't do it," Jason whispered. "Why would I kill the girl I loved?" Robert looked at him, something stewing behind his tired eyes. Maybe for art, he said quietly. To write the perfect story. Jason's face twisted in confusion. He denied everything, swore he was innocent, said someone was framing him. But Robert simply turned and walked away. Climactic revenge payoff, 13 to 14:30. Back at the bookstore, someone was waiting. A man in a tailored coat, out of place in this dusty corner of the world. As Robert approached, the man smiled. Too withered by age to give an old friend a coffee? Damien, too withered by age to give an old friend a coffee? Damien. The man smiled as Robert. They embraced, sat down, talked about writing. Damien now worked in publishing, and he had an offer. It's time, Robert. You should finally write your own book. Robert hesitated, then smiled. I've got the perfect story. About a killer who fools the police and pins the crime on someone else. Damien laughed. Another mystery, huh? Using your old pen name? Robert stared into his coffee. No, Jasper Roth is retired. This one's under my real name. Here's a quick wrap-up. Sometimes, justice is just a story we tell ourselves. Sometimes, the perfect story demands a perfect ending, even if it means writing it with someone else's blood. Because revenge, like literature, is best when poetic. If that twist hit you like a gut punch, smash that like button and tell us in the comments. Would you have done what Robert did, or was it too far? Subscribe for more chilling, emotionally raw revenge stories. And remember, some books should never be read.